Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, guys, happy Sunday, everybody. Um, Other than the remnants of this, I don't know what I've been fighting, a cold, a little bit of a stomach bug. Um, I did. Uh, I did sleep in again this morning, which felt good to rest. It's a funny thing, I can only stay in bed till about 8, 9 o'clock these days, and my back starts to get sore from laying down. But I got up, took a nice, easy morning, went to the gym. Guys, I'm so happy to announce I upped my bench press again. My current record is now 360 pounds, which is triple plates, and my next move will be 365 triples and quarters, and I'm well on my way to hitting quadruple plates, man. I absolutely love the expansion, and you know what? The slow, steady growth in all areas of my life because I'm working my program to the best of my ability. And not perfect, not like anybody else, but just honestly, doing the best and trying to hold myself accountable has been absolutely amazing this year. Uh, I went to church afterwards, had a beautiful service. Stomach bug almost made me run out of the church, and maybe I should have a little sooner than I did. But then I came home, took a nap, and feel pretty good. Went and did some shopping, and I'm pretty content today. I think it's a great word for today, content. Guys, I'm content. That's something I never was before, but I'm content these days because I found a new way to live, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. And there you go. There's our reading for today. A new way to live. When at the end of the road we find that we can no longer function as human beings, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. Either we go on as best we can to the bitter ends, jails, institutions, and death, or we can find a new way to live. What was the worst aspect of active addiction? It wasn't that we might die of our disease someday. The worst part was the living death we experienced every day. It certainly was for me, guys, seriously. The never ending meaninglessness of life. We felt like walking ghosts, not living, loving parts of the world around us. Well, in recovery, we've come to believe that we are here for a reason, to love ourselves and to love others. In working the steps, we've learned to accept ourselves, and with that acceptance has come self respect. We've seen that everything we do has an effect on others. We are a part of the lives of those around us, and they of ours. We've begun to trust others to acknowledge our responsibility to them. In recovery, we've come back to life. We maintain our new lives by contributing to the welfare of others and seeking each day to do that better. That's where the 10th, 11th, and 12th steps come in. The days of living like a ghost in our own lives are past, but only so long as we actively seek to be healthy, loving, contributing parts of our own living and of those around us. And then the affirmation is just for today. I have found a new way of life. I have found a new way to live. Today I will seek to serve others with love and to love myself. And reading that last part of that reminded me actually. Between the gym and church, I usually like to go up to my little breakfast place here, Davis Square Donuts. If anybody's local, they have the biggest, best donuts, great breakfasts, really, really good people there. I'll certainly give them a plug for free. And as I was pulling up, there was a homeless person sitting outside with the sign, and I typically, I pick and choose. I like to give, but typically when the first thing I saw on the sign is Americans don't treat, and that usually shuts me down because I'm like, you know what? But something maybe it's Christmas, because it's Christmas, whatever. But I thought, you know what? I haven't seen anybody begging on the street for a few days. Let me give them something. I opened my wallet, and unfortunately, I didn't have any cash. I typically don't carry a lot of cash these days. Do everything with my cards. But I get out, and I said, "Hey, good morning, man." And he said, "Hey, God bless, good morning," or something. Typically they'll try to be nice to get you to give. And I'm listen. I said, I literally just checked to see. I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me. But he's like, no, no, no. He said, that's okay. Just thank you for saying hi. And he was actually really kind. And I appreciated that, you know what I mean? So I went in and I got my breakfast. I actually came out and asked him if he wanted breakfast, but somebody had just fed him, so he was good there. I come out and I hop in my truck and I went to leave, and I'm like, you know what? Like I love the fact that at least he had a good attitude. He wasn't being pushy at anybody. He was actually being kind to everybody. So Bank of America was My bank was right on the corner, so I stopped at the ATM and I grabbed some money for him, and a lot more than I would normally give somebody. But you know what, Mike? Why not? I can afford to do so. So I pulled back around, and I just caught him. He was actually picking up to probably head on to the next location, right? And he saw my truck pulling back up, so he stopped. And I get out and I said, well, like I said, kid, I don't carry cash, but I do have an ATM card. And said, you know what, attitude will get you everywhere. And I learned because I want to let him know, you know what, I appreciate your kind attitude. The only reason I went out of my way to go get you money and come back and give it to you is because you were kind. So good for you. You know what I mean? Kindness needs to be rewarded. So as I gave him some money, it really blew his mind. He used to, he's, hoping for $1, not 20s, and I gave him a few. And it's fine, not a big deal, right? I felt good about it. And then I actually stopped and talked to him, and come to find out, he's really not a bad guy. He's just going through a tough spot, and guys, I can identify with that. I've been on the street. I spent almost 4 years living on the street, so I actually stopped, talked to him for a while. Doesn't seem like a bad guy. Doesn't have a drug problem. Maybe he has a drinking problem. I don't know. I didn't really get pry into his business like that, but he's actually a pretty at least he's got the credentials of being a pretty decent chef. And I know a lot of people that work in restaurants. So I took his phone number, made sure he was in a shelter, so he's got some place to stay. And I'm going to reach out to some friends of mine and see if I can't get this kid a job. Because, again, attitude, and that's the thing, guys. When you're out there struggling, like, just thinking the world owes you everything and then and pissing on people that aren't the ones that created your problem is never the solution. Kindness is going to always go a lot further. It always did for me. I was always kind of rough and tumble looking, so people tended to avoid me. But I felt really good going with my intuition that this kid seemed like a decent kid, and I was so happy I went and grabbed him some money. And because at the end of the day, guys, I got a lot of money in the bank. I'm not going to notice the few 20s I handed to the kid, and it probably made a difference in his day. And at least I know at the end of the day he's got some sort of option, at least get a good meal or whatever he's going to do with it. I'm not going to say he's not going to go buy booze. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do with it. It's not my problem. I don't have to worry about that. But I saw, I stopped, I chatted with him, we said a prayer together, I wished him the best, and I got his phone number, and I'm honestly going to reach out and see if I can help this kid. That's what we do in recovery, guys. Somebody's reached out and helped me get to rehab. Somebody reached out and got me to my first AA meeting, the one that I now chair. Somebody reached out and let me know that when I was talking about the old NA meeting that I loved so much that wasn't there, somebody reached out, a couple of people actually let me know that meeting had moved. That's what we do for each other in recovery, and that's where part of our self-respect comes from. It's the act of being selfless that allows us to it's one of this. There's many things, guys, and that's the thing. This recovery process, if you want to get the most out of it, you want to incorporate it as many different aspects of it into your life, and the more you do, the more you're going to get out of it. And some of the best feelings I get, and when I'm not worrying about what I got going on, and I'm worrying about somebody else. And then seeing somebody else get that little spark of hope, and it's a beautiful thing, guys. And again, it wasn't anything earth-shattering. I didn't go, crazy, but I am gonna make an effort to see if I can't make a difference with this kid, and just do what I can. It's all we can do. Especially right now, it's cold outside. It's the holiday season. You want to see somebody do something better. The reason for that is because I know I have found a new way to live. There is a better life out there for everybody, guys. If I can do this and make a smashing success. And again, I hate saying that. It kills me to say that because I'm not an egotistical person like that. But at the same time, I understand that I have a responsibility to be honest and call it what it is. And for what I've been through and what I put myself through and where I'm at now, I mean, it's shocking. It's a beautiful thing. I'm on, and I've said so many times, a meteoric rise. Well, in the beginning it was because I overcame a lot through God. God put a lot of good people in my path because I was showing God that I was deserving of it. I was acting accordingly. I was working on the things I did. I was being introspective. I was being faithful. I was learning to expect the best so long as I did the right thing, and I was paying attention to every little detail. Like, it was amazing to me when you actually, because guys, I was the most numb. I thought no two things mattered. Everything was coincidence. Everything was random, chaos, string theory, but whatever. And not that I'm smart enough to know string theory, but anyway, you get my point. And this time around, because I did it through prayer, when I started to pray, I started to see the connections. Like, everything I needed at any given time would just drop in my lap. So instead of wasting all my energy searching for what I thought was best, knowing that all the decisions I made were wrong, I let it go and just said, God, okay, I'm just going to sit back, listen, try to figure out what's going on, pay attention, do the things that are really hard for me to do at that point, where look at my behaviors, look at my thought patterns, look at my actions, look for the patterns. And the most important thing I did, guys, and it was amazing, like here's another sign of synchronicity. As soon as I understood that I had to figure out the patterns that caused me to repeat the same situations over and over again, literally, like the next day, there was an advertisement on YouTube for a free Tony Robbins seminar, which all we really talked about was pattern recognition. So I signed up for it, and then afterwards, I think I just quit my job. I didn't have money. I'd done a little bit of work. I had like maybe $800-900 in the bank, and there was a course through Tony that was like $500 to do the following, intensive 40-hour. And I did. I spent the money, and I did it. I understood at that point that if I spent money working on myself, fixing or learning, not so much fixing, but learning better ways to live, that they were going to come back and pay back in spades. And my Lord, thank you, God, has that not been the case? I mean, guys, I talked about it recently. I recently came to the conclusion that what I used to make in a day, I now charge per hour. Like, I love working for myself. Yeah, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of requirements. Literally, as I went to do my video, I just got a text. It's 5:30 on Sunday night, and I got a text from a tenant who's away for the holidays, and somebody's coming to watch their cat, and we have lock boxes with master keys in each property, and somebody's taken the master key out of the lockbox. And I mean, I just came back from shopping, and I got settled, and I want to make a nice meal after this and eat and do my laundry and get caught up. And okay, boom, now I got to go out and go replace the key in a lockbox. Like, that happens, and that's a small thing, but I carry a lot of responsibilities. There's a lot to it. I got to, if you wouldn't believe the amount of phone calls I get some days, and it can be overwhelming, but it's rewarding. Because anytime I start to get even slightly stressed over it, I've learned to stop and look at the totality of the situation and go, really? Like, I've got opportunities I never dreamed I'd have. I've got, like, literally, guys, I've come to the, not even conclusion, but I've decided in the year 2026, I'm going to buy my first rental property. I mean, I could probably do it in fairly early 2026. I've been saving all year, and I've saved a shitload of money, more money than I ever dreamed I'd ever see in a bank account. I have sitting here ready, and again, I don't go out and blow it, and I don't, I'm not talking about shopping or giving a homeless guy $100. Big deal. It's nothing in the scheme of things. I have the down payment, or 3/4 of my down payment, to buy $1 million rental property. Like, that is beautiful, guys. If that is not a direct gift from God, I don't know what is. And it's again, He didn't hand me the money, but He allowed me, or got me, to pay attention and understand that I had a marketable set of skills that there is a demand for out there, and then gave me the courage to actually take the leap of faith and open my business, and not rely on a weekly paycheck, not know where the next dollar is coming from when I didn't have any and I was deeply in debt. But understanding that God put that thought in my brain because that's what He wants for me. He wants better for me. Understand, I learned the new way of life. I learned to expect the best, or expect nothing and just do the best, is really what I've done. And because I've done that, guys, my wildest expectations have been just blown out of the water. Like, when I said that in my first or second video, guys, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months, 1 year, but if I keep doing this, I know it's going to be amazing. My life will look so different. Not only is my life so different, I physically look different. I am different. I'm by far the best version of me that's ever walked. And I know I still got so far to go, which gives me so much more hope, because there's much joy and satisfaction and self-respect and sense of self-worth that I've been given. And keep in mind, those are the exact things that I didn't have coming into rehab. And I understood those are the issues I had. My biggest issues were my lack of self-respect, lack of sense of self-worth, lack of future, lack of security, lack of stability. So I started to heal and look for the patterns that caused me to have those things and be faithful and just expect the best. All those things have literally been completely changed in under a year. It's absolutely amazing, guys. I'm so much further along than I ever dreamed I would be. Ever. And never mind that I'm just getting started. That's the beauty of it, guys. I understand now that all I've done was laid the foundation for a successful life. And so long as I continue to step up and challenge and learn and help others and be that best version, in other words, live my new way of life to the best of my ability, the sky's the limit. Things are going to continue to get better. I used to talk about, someday, at one point I was hoping somebody would leave me a rental property because I work for so many. It's insane. It's not going to happen. But I never thought for a second I could actually save money and buy my own. And I've done that in under a year now. I'm not ready yet, but by the end of 2026, it will be done. And once I get the first one, I get to have more because I'll take the equity from that and so on and so forth, guys. It's getting that first one going, and anybody can. It's a matter of I set my focus on it, and I've continued to come after it day in and day out. And I've done so the best ways possible by listening and following these steps and actively trying to make myself a better person without looking for the reward and the immediate instant gratification, prolonging the reward to allow it to grow and compound. Guys, this new way of life it's not always easy because life is still life. It's still tough. I'm still, reeling from the disappointment of a broken relationship that I had so much hope for. It is what it is. But at the same time, I understood that was a test to see what I would allow and what wouldn't. And the minute that it wasn't going well, I saw it and I stepped back and I put up my boundaries, and I did so honestly, knowing full well that because if I let God know, no, I won't accept that. That's something the old me would have put up with. He'll send something much better into my life, and I do that in blind faith. I know when the next relationship comes into my life, just like I said on that video that night, it will be the most amazing, balanced, beautiful relationship I've ever had because I won't allow anything less. And I may keep getting step ups in the right direction, and until I find the one that I know is right, I'll keep sending it back. And nope, this one's not cooked yet, not ready yet. Guys, you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta live your new way of life, and when you start living your new way of life, show gratitude, show appreciation, give back wherever and ever you can. Guys, I've had enough of jails and institutions and even death. I've died twice from overdose. I know what's waiting for me out there if I want to choose to go backwards. I won't do that today, and I hope I never have to. I know I never have to. I hope, and this is why I keep doing the things that I do, because I got to keep that in the forefront of my brain, because I only get a 24-hour daily reprieve. All it takes is one bad decision to throw all this away. So I've got to keep myself accountable and look at the patterns and notice the triggers and play the tape through. All these things I used to laugh at as being so silly are now the way that I live my new life, and it works incredibly well. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Happy Sunday, everybody. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.